Because my mama said, if they don't understand these people are wearing these children out, y'all have to understand that we do crazy stuff. You can't expect a child to have a mind of an adult. You know, we don't want to do crazy things like these other crazy things we'll do. Thank you, because your child right here think they can't spell words. And you start spelling out words. Don't give them no C-A-N-D-Y. That's preschool stuff. Y'all, let's get it back on, y'all. Okay, so we dealt with that. Now we got some issues coming up here, y'all. There's a lot of books out there that tells us about the origin of pagan doctrines, pagan events, and different things. The word pagan, when you look it up, it never defines it clearly. It's got multiple definitions, and it never comes down to a clear understanding. The one we have to use is basically it's a practice that allows you to pretty much do what you want to do. Pagan customs. So what we got here is this nation has what's called holidays, not holy days, holidays. But they have them in this category: religious, civil, and social. So we need to identify what these are according to the script. We want to hit a couple scripts, y'all. This is going to tie into the music deal too. Religious holidays that they say are based on the Bible: Christmas, Easter, Halloween, and what? Lent. And what we're talking about, y'all, maybe many more, but what we're talking about is when they say these are religious holidays. These are what you can look in your Bible and you can determine if you should be doing this. We're going to weigh heavily on your conscience through the Bible, through the laws of your God, based on these, right here, on these religious holidays. Thanksgiving is a toss-up. Just want to put it where I'm going to explain that. I'm going to explain that too, so y'all don't go away thinking that it's out of the water itself. But what we're talking about religious holidays where they tie the scripture. Go ahead, bro.
Halloween is a so-called religious holiday.
Because it's a religious holiday for the Satanists.
For the Satanists?
Yeah, you're living in a kingdom that allows different doctrines to have their high holy days, like Passover, like Feast of Tabernacles. Satanists, who is a protected religion under the law, Halloween is their second highest holy day. Their highest day is May 1st, called Beltane's Eve. Yeah. May Day or whatever is tied to Beltane. That's Satan's highest holy day. You want to see what Beltane's Eve is and understand it, get a movie called Angel Heart with Lisa Bonet, they play Bill Cosby's daughter in the Cosby Show.
Yeah.
Angel Heart is, and you see Robert De Niro playing Lucifer.
Yeah.
So Halloween is the second highest holy day for the Satanists. It requires getting a black cat and different things. That's why the Men's Society don't let no black cats go out the whole month of October. No black cats. It deals with the 13th floor. And all they think why most companies don't have a 13th floor.
Most hotels.
Most hotels, they don't have these. Right, so y'all have to understand there's something significant with what's going on with religious holidays. Now, the script tells us that we cannot take anything that makes us push the law of God aside. Religious holidays. Now we got civil holidays. 4th of July. Right? Memorial Day.
How about this Sunday? Mother's Day.
That's not a civil. Okay? Memorial. Veterans.
Okay.
What we're talking about is when the United States federal government mandate and put it into law why we have put these in. These civil laws tell every other nation how we were founded, what we were founded under. Yes, it was the 4th of July. A lot of us call it the 4th of July. But They call it Independence Day. We are independent from Britain. Yeah, we got a lot of people to say, well, you're really not independent of Britain. The bottom line is, we use the United States dollar, they use euro. They speak this language, we speak this language. In a sense, you're independent of them. But if you're still linked to them and you say down, rooted, you're still linked to them, yeah, you can make that argument all day. But the bottom line is the United States runs off of its Constitution. Now, if Britain has the same exact Constitution, then it is truly the 4th of July because you got the same Constitution. But America has a different Constitution. It's called the land of the free. Europe don't have that. Over here, you can say the Holocaust don't exist. It was a myth. But over in Europe, automatic 5 or 10 years to say the Holocaust don't exist. Go over to anywhere in Europe and say the Holocaust don't exist. You will have a trip to the Gray Bar Motel. And you'll be like this. Somebody call a lawyer. But over here, you're not under that pressure. So to speak, now you'll get ridiculed and called an anti-Semite, but you can't be anti yourself. But we don't know we Shemitic or Semite people. Once you say, I can't be what I'm already, I can't be against who I am. I'm Semitic. So I can't be anti myself, but we think we have to. So that's how they run it over us. And then you got social. Hold it down with them shorties, y'all. Social. Thanksgiving, Mother's Day, Father's Day. Well, we'll put that up. Well, yeah, because it's how it's tied. You know, that's one of the ones, too, right here that we have to look at and really weigh with a spirit where you're going to weigh that one at. But Paul deals with us on this, on 1 Corinthians 14, about days and things you keep. But understand this. Christmas, they tell you, is the birth of Christ. Right? Okay, but through the scripture, based on what they're saying, the burden is not on them to prove that. The burden is on you to prove that it's false. Now, how do we do that? First of all, we got to deal with birth. Was he born on December the 25th? Who knows? Who truly knows what day he was born on? Well, the scripture gives us a time that he was going to be born. It starts off talking about Zacharias, John the Baptist's father. During his course, where he ran the temple, so to speak, he made the sacrifices. He lit the incense. His course was the course of Abia, 1 Chronicles 24. It usually ran from June through December. He roll out, another priest come in. Now it says, according to this course, at the end of his commission, he was told to go home and deal with his wife who was barren, Elizabeth, and you should have a child. At the end of his course, where Abib run, he went in June. And then Mary, the mother of Christ, visited Elizabeth in what month? Her 6th month, right? Yeah. So if he went home in June and she conceived, what's 6 months later? December, right? So if Mary visited her in December, then that means John, and the angel came to her and said, when the angel came to her, told her conception is in her, it says Elizabeth is in the 6th month of her pregnancy. So John is always going to be, no matter how we slice it, 6 months older than the Christ, right? In the physical form, not in the spirit form. In the physical form, he's going to be 6 months. Well, if she's 6 months pregnant, then that makes, and Elizabeth, Mary was told she's pregnant with the Christ, then when we say, was he born on December the 25th or was he conceived on December the 25th? Two different understandings. See, when they ask you that, you got to ask them a simple question. Are you speaking of live birth or conception? If they say live birth, then they got to prove it. Because now you got to tell me how can him and John be the same, have the same birthday? Because it says Christ, when he was born, they had Sukkot boots out. The only time Sukkot boots are what they were calling a manger is during the Feast of Tabernacles for 7 days. You build a little hut. And you go, and this was a major feast day, Leviticus 23, where everybody had to come up to Jerusalem if you were able to. And they said there was no room in the inns. All the hotels taken up because you got travelers from everywhere. But people would make Sukkot boots. This is what's called Sukkot or Feast of Tabernacles. There was a little booth. Most people, like Israelites, they'll put a tent up in their backyard. And they just live out of the tent for a while. It goes back to Exodus, you know, and tells about when we come out of Egypt. So it said Christ was born around that time because the shepherds were still in the field. The shepherds bring all of the sheep in late October because the winter months are killing. He couldn't have been born on the Passover because if he's conceived in December, what's 9 months later? Count it up.
September.
When is the Feast of Tabernacles? So, and then like people talk about, well, the custom birthday came from a custom. Look, how do we know Abraham died at 175? What had to happen for you to know the numbers? Had to have a birthday. How can else did he know how old he is? How do you know how old you are? From a birthday. But what happens is, because wicked things happen on birthdays, people say that you shouldn't celebrate. They go to the book of John where Herod, during his birthday, John the Baptist's head got cut off. That didn't have nothing to do with the birthday celebration. What that had to do with an overabundance of the wine and his lust for his brother's Philip's wife and their daughter. He had his brother's wife, and he was lusting after her daughter, which the script tells us in Deuteronomy, you cannot lie with the mother and the daughter. It's confusion. What is the daughter's child going to call her mother? Nanny sister? I mean, it's confusion. So under that, this is what caused the problem with Herod on his birthday. And they knew it because that's what they played on. She was swiveling her hips. He loved the way she danced. Made Shakira look like she was doing a robot. The way she could swivel her hips. And he said, tell her to dance for me and I will give her half the kingdom. Whatever she asked. He had no idea that she was going to say, John the Baptist's head in there. What has that got to do with the feast that's going on? Nothing, absolutely zero. But because he had got tipsy and made that statement in front of all of Israel at the party, he had to keep his charge. And it say he went away bitter. He was like this, damn, John the Baptist, I got to do it though. He told him, don't do it. And they brought it back, head on the plate. And he hated that. But he died a miserable, miserable death, y'all. Herod. Well, not that Herod, the one that tried to kill Christ when he was a baby. When you read Josephus how he did, he had itching in a lot of places you don't want to be scratching. They say he had say it was just falling apart. They said this had not just looked like a chitlin piece left. When y'all reading that Josephus, Book of the Wars, Book 1, I think it's chapter 10, but it goes into breaking down what happened to Herod and his disease from trying to kill all of the male children at that age. But when we get back to religion, they say Christmas, so we see that's blowing out the water because the key word is conception of live birth. Because you know what else happens on December the 25th? Why Satan put his right there? It's called the Feast of Dedication, or what we call Hanukkah. According to 2 Maccabees, it's to be done in the 20th and 5th day of Kislev. And that's the Hebrew term for our November, December. It says, but the 20th and 5th day. What's 20th and 5th, 5 days? 25th of December. So, which day of lights you going to be doing? Are you going to be doing the one with Christmas lights strung all around the house? Or are you going to light the menorah for 7 days? Understand why they right there together. And Christ did the Feast of Dedication when he went up to the temple in John 10th chapter. It says he did the Feast of Dedication. So, you know, when we look at that, he's not saying I'm doing my own birthday because it was never lit like that. He said, I am the offering to Israel. That's what it was. This is the opening the door up there. And he was letting them know, this is what you keep. Not stringing lights around your house, not Santa Claus. And all they did was this. If you move the end over here, what you got? So we have to understand that this religious holiday is dealing with something else. Now Mark 7, let's hit me some Mark 7. Mark 7 and 7. And we're going to understand what makes a custom vain that'll make you worthless. Because everybody in here got on a custom of something. If you got on Nikes, what's that the custom of? The Roman sports guy. Adidas. Or Adidas, some call it. Roman sports guy. How many in here got Bronco wear? Y'all know y'all got it, y'all just ain't saying it. Y'all walk and shop just like me. Y'all shop at Saks. Not Saks Fifth Avenue, but a brother come through with a brown paper sack. Look, I ain't $20. Saks. You know, so, y'all, but what I'm saying, you can't blast Jay-Z and wear his garments. Right. Does that make you a devil worshiper? No, it don't. To us, if we look at it like a pair of jeans of what it is, I'll sit down in it, I'll eat beans in it. And you know what happens after you eat beans? I don't care about these jeans. That's how you have to look at it. Mark 7 and 7, let's start it, y'all. Yeah.
Everybody there?
Mark who?
Mark 7. Mark chapter 7, verse 4. And when they came from the market, except they wash, they eat not. And many other things there be, which they have received to hold, as the washing of cups, and pots, brazen vessels, and of tables. Now this is the kicker thing. It's saying that they are doing these things. They wash pots and they wash cups. So is this telling us not to wash pots and cups? Huh? It sounds like somebody can say that. This is what Christ charged them with. It says this is what they're doing. Let's keep reading some more. Verse 5. Then the Pharisees and scribes asked him, why walk not thy disciples according to the traditions of the elders? According to what? The tradition of the elders. It's not law. It says there are traditions of the elders. Look, elders get to a point where Paul had certain traditions. But Paul always told you, I speak as a man and not as commandment of the Lord. So Paul is giving, but his traditions are good for the word. They're going to lead you down the right path. He's going to tell you certain things. He said, but command I, not the Lord. So what he does then is he tells you, if you want to stay over here, you good with that. If you don't believe, because Paul said, if you're married to somebody that's unequally yoked, and he's talking about the people that if two married and then one of y'all find out the truth, and now, but your wife don't really want to come in or your husband don't want to believe it, he says, if they be pleased to dwell with you, do not put them away. He said, but that's a commandment of Paul. Because the script tells us, do not be evenly yoked. But the question was asked, what happens when I was married before I found the truth?
Evenly yoked or
unequally yoked. I'm sorry, y'all. Glad y'all listening intently. Very good, y'all. That's how we have to be. That's what y'all listening for. That's what I'm talking about. That's how we have to be. When you hear something come out of somebody, you got to stop immediately. What did you just say? Because you can be talking fast and go, oh, okay, let me correct myself. Okay, so Paul said that, but the script say don't be married to anybody unequally yoked at all. But what happens when you already married and you come into the truth? Or one of you? Paul goes on to break it down. He said, how you know, man, when you're not saved, your wife? Or how you know, woman, you may not save the man. But what it's going to be, it's going to be a work in progress now. Why? Because maybe this is your 4th doctrine in a month. December the 1st, you was a Muslim. December the 10th, you was a Jehovah's Witness. Thursday, you was a Pentecostal. Now you're telling me with the children of Israel. I've been following you through all the things. You're going to spend up money. You still got them Hebrew sandals over there. And you got them Jehovah's Witness door knockers. I just don't know. I'm not going to keep on following you around different ways. But you have to come into the light then and start walking a path where she said, you know what? I've been watching you. But the key is she's pleased to dwell with you. That's the key word. She's not angry at you. So please means she's not going to put a stumbling block in front of you serving your God. Or he's not going to put a stumbling block in the way of you serving your God. Going up there to that damn church again, huh? Y'all to be here cooking something. The Bible say barefoot and pregnant. Now you don't know the Bible. Now you, okay, baby. Damn, we'll get barefoot then. You know, so we have to be careful about that, y'all. Let's read some more of this.
5 from the beginning. Then the Pharisees and scribes asked him, why walk not thy disciples according to the traditions of the elders, but eat bread with unwashed hands?
And why I'm saying tradition is because all throughout the scripture you'll see, and this is the tradition of the elders. But there'll be righteous tradition. Men can make some suggestions. As long as it's according to the word. Will it be right? You know, if you tell somebody, look, traditionally, the ballers play with their shoestrings tied up. Untied up, I should say. That's room for you to break your ankle, right? When you come down the land with untied shoes. So let's keep our shoes tied up. Let's do this. Some of these things are just traditions, and they on this side of the law that we kept certain traditions that's not, you know, what we would call law, but what they do, they justify the law. They don't override the law with those traditions. Those traditions have to meet this point. You know what I'm saying? Because Paul said, if you be pleased to do, if she be pleased to do it, or he be pleased to do it, don't put them away because you can save them. So that lets us know, even if our parents or other people that if they're not on this doctrine, don't put away, because slowly they'll change. Once they started seeing things, you go to your parents' house, first thing first, you're gonna notice. There your meat over there. Don't touch that green pot. Now you touch that green pot, what's happening? Why are you even looking in the green pot? If you're looking in there, you're looking for trouble. Oh! We just can't get swine free over your house, Mama, where you pay to be. Can we get some swine free where you pay to be? No, you can't go overrun nobody. But what happens is they slowly see it. Then when you come out, Mama, which pot to? Baby, don't do that no more. Then they almost like an attitude that you like, you know better than to ask me if I'm eating swine. Don't eat no swine up in there. Okay, Mama. But what made them do that is that you didn't pound it down their throat. You didn't tell them that you're going to hell for this. They started looking at it and they said, well, let me try and see if eating turkey bacon every morning, I'll feel a difference. And when they feel a difference, they start to say, my son is trying to save my life. My daughter's trying to save my life, which is going to help them. Do we want our parents to go to hell? No, we don't want that no more than they want us. We have to look out for them like they look out for us. It has to be that. That's the change. That's the respect of parents. You know, honor thy mother and father. That's how you honor them, showing them a respect level, a line you won't cross. And I guarantee you, after they keep going, yeah, it's going to be a long process because they older than you. They've been doing what they're doing before you was born, at least 20 years before you was born. Once you get past that, boy, we ain't no damn Hebrew. I was born in Mississippi. You was born in Mississippi, and your children was born in Mississippi. You know, once you get past that, what has that to do with that? How did their father get to this land? Right. Let them explain that. Right. Well, they came over here some slave ships. Then from where? Somewhere over there in Africa. Boy, don't be messing with me. Somewhere over there in Africa. Well, I'm telling you, over there in Africa is the tip of Africa. Northeast Africa, called Zion. That's where we come from. You're right. But I'm going to tell you exactly where we come from. We them people. You know, and then once they start to hear that, and once they start to read, it'll open up, and now they weigh against what their past is telling them. We Gentiles, don't worry about where you come from. Just be glad you're breathing and serve in the Lord. Wow. That's right. That's right. That ain't right. Let's move on.
Verse 6. He answered and said unto them,
right?
Well, hath Isaiah prophesied of you hypocrites?
Oh, Isaiah, go ahead.
As it is written, this people honors me with their lips, but their heart is far from me.
Hold it down, y'all. So y'all, this right here, he said this people honors me. He said Isaiah prophesied this about you in Isaiah 29 chapter. He said this people honor me with their lips. It's lip service. I love the Lord. Well, why are you doing that the Lord hates? Ah, come on. You know, so you love the Lord, and you want to hear good, I love the Lord. See Coming to America. When the boy, I love the Lord, you know, who is it, Arsenio Hall. That's what they saying with their lips. That's so you get the understanding or a visual of that saying, but doing everything opposite of what the script saying. If you listen to what he told them to do, you know. So we'll move on. Go ahead.
Verse 7. Howbeit in vain do they worship me.
Howbeit in what?
In vain.
So what he said, they're worshiping me through traditions, not through law. Basically, we're setting up everything. Boy, when you come in here, you take your hat off before you eat, before you do this and that. These are traditions. Are they bad traditions? In a sense, it shows respect to the household. Some houses you go in, you take your shoes off. You know, that may be rough for some of us. You know, we like to wear church shoes with no socks on all day. You pull them shoes off going in somewhere, maybe some problem. But, you know, those are certain traditions. Why do we say bless you? Huh?
Right. Why do we say that? Right. Why do we say that?
Why do we say it? Now you're asking yourself. It's a tradition and a custom because they say when you sneeze, your heart stops for a blue light. Is that medically proven?
No.
So what we chasing?
Right.
Possible superstition, ain't we? Tradition. But yet we say bless you every time somebody sneezes. You know, that ain't why we should be saying bless you because they sneezing. If their breath is getting to be cut off, it may be a problem in that area. Maybe they're doing something they ought to. You know, you always tell them, look, you need to get out on your knees or something and get some blessings. But we do those type of things. Good morning. You know, we wonder if sometimes somebody say, assalamu alaikum. Bacon and salami to you too. Should we attack them because they say hello in Arabic? Not if we say good morning every day. Good morning.
We say it in English.
Morning. What we saying that in? Right. What's Hebrew? Shalom. It's just a greeting. So we ain't looking at them because they say assalamu alaikum that they're trying to convert us. They are greeting us in what the language or the nation they say they from. You know, now it's how you answer. Do you want to answer alaikum salam? No. All right, shalom, bro. It's all good. Shalom. You know, you letting them know where you stand. Both cannot be identified later. It's no different than you saying good morning. Good morning. That nigga talking in that Gentile language. Don't good morning me. You belong to me. I'm Hebrew. I'm Israelites. Go ahead, y'all. Let's read some more.
At verse 7. Howbeit in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men.
Understand what it said. Teaching for doctrines. The commandment. Now understand what this means. When you teach doctrine of the commandments of men and say it's the law. These you saying, the Lord tells us we have to wash our hands every day before we eat. Well, if that's the truth, every time we pull in a fast food restaurant, if you ain't got hand sanitizer, you breaking the tradition of the elders, ain't you? Because we don't look for nothing, we tear right into it because it's called fast food. Don't slow down to wash your hands. Wherever this hand been, if it's been up here to the knuckle, you just start eating. Ain't no wash. Hands greasy, and you start gobbling. Is that a sin? That's a tradition. Who got a question about that? What you got to say?
Second witness on that. Matthew 15 and 8.
What did it say, sis?
This people draw nigh unto me
Right.
with their mouth, and honor me with their lips, but their hearts is far from me.
Absolutely.
But
So
in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrine of commandments of men.
absolutely. So it's written again as a second witness that we do that constantly. We say that's what the law is wrong. But if somebody told you, show me where it's at so I can do it. Now look. There you go talking about that Bible again. Now look, my pastor, and I trust my pastor. Right. Said that, you know, such and such. And then, now look, my pastor been in this Bible. He went to theology school. His daddy was a Pentecostal pastor. His daddy was a Jehovah's Witness. And all these have been men of God. How dare you question me with the Bible? So if you fall for that, guess what? Now you are doing commandments of men. But just do them like this. If you're ordering me according to God's word, show me what that's at, and then I'll do it. Go ahead, read on some more.
Verse 8. For laying aside the commandment of God, ye hold the traditions of men, as the washing of pots and cups, and many other such like things ye do.
The key word in verse 8 it says laying aside the commandment of God. Let's put this out of the way. I don't want to see that. Don't show me what the Bible tells me not to do that. But understand this, we can't make certain things be certain things. Like when I started off, I talked about sacrifice to Molech. When you read all throughout these scriptures, sacrifice to Molech deals with one thing. Parents planning the birth of a child to give to Satan, to burn in an altar. And they watch that child burn, that she's been burned for 9 months. They watch it burn. And they said, thank you to their God. That's sacrifice to Molech. Abortion isn't killing unborn children or whatever it is, however it is. That's not sacrifice to Molech. That's correcting what you think is an error. You're trying to do what David did to fix what he did with Bathsheba and Uriah. Because you're not planning that.
But
it's a mistake.
But it's still, you're not supposed to do it, right?
You're not supposed to do it, but you can't label crimes a crime. You know, bank robbery is bank robbery. Mm-hmm. You know, insurance fraud is insurance fraud. Okay. Don't give me insurance fraud charges for bank robbery. Mm-hmm. So the crime has to fit the punishment. The Most High breaks it down. Because you did this, this is the punishment for that. Mm-hmm. So sacrifice to Molech is not, abortion is a mistake. We didn't plan this. I'm arguing at you. You told me you was on the pill. You told me you wasn't going to do it all the way. You told me it was going to be coitus interruptus. That's what the children say. Y'all know what we call it, but look it up, coitus. Or you said different things like that. So now we at a fault. What's the next question? What are we going to do? Sacrifice to Molech, you know what you're going to do. The only problem may be is if the mother at the last second don't want to give it to Molech, then that's a problem. But when you go up in there, that it is what it is. These are two different things. Totally we can't make abortion sacrifice to Molech. We can make abortion is having fun or being fruitful and you've multiplied and you want to prepare for it. So what do? It's the same as if you continue to have children and you in a bad state. You can't keep bringing children in here that you may have to give to the state. And then you have to painfully wonder what's happening to them. Lord, please don't let them be with no child molesters, Lord. Because that's who's adopting children. There's some of them out there, that's why they got into the game. Boy Scout leaders, I'm getting into this because I have a different agenda. And you set them up and they have to go off to them. We can't do it. You have to look at it even from that level. Well, the Lord told me to be fruitful and multiply. Well, they won't multiply with nothing in their bellies. Will they? If they can't be fed, what's going to happen to them? Somebody going to take them away from you, ain't it? So, y'all, it's a fine line between different things, but we don't want to stay on that too long. But what I'm saying is we are not going to make something that is not. Because we're looking at it like it's an abomination to God. He tells you what his laws is. He tells you that we deal with traditions. Traditions are to the point you leave them and take them as long as they don't become a commandment. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. And I'm speaking of Mother Day tomorrow. If your mother called you and say you ought to be ashamed, you know what today is. You ain't called me. You ain't stopped by here. I birthed you. If she makes that law over you've been stopping by there every other day of the week, it has to be free will. A tradition of man cannot be a burden. They can't make it. Because what happened to the day if you ain't got no mother? How does it work for you? What do you do? Say, this is my alternative mother? My aunt, she's been like a mother to me. So it has a point. This is a social holiday that says, look, if y'all want to get in the garden, but if we don't do it, or you do it, there ain't no harm, no foul in that, unless you tell me, or you tell somebody else, or I tell you, look, my mama can't do no wrong. So when I go to the store, I spend everything I got. Lord got to wait on my tithe this week. Mama come first. Once you do that, now you cross the line where Matthew 23 say, call no man your father. Don't look at your mother like that, that where you raised them up to the level of God. By the time you get over there with the gift you got for them, guess who could have visited? The death angel. So y'all, we're not telling you to get involved in these things. These are just retail holidays. It's the second highest day to make money for this nation. The first one is Christmas. It's 50% of the sales all year. This comes in second. All they're looking at is this: we need to get some money out of y'all. But it only works off of free will, right? What's the free will? Do I go to the store or do I just call and say, hey, Mama, how you doing today? Good. Love you. Bye. If that's what you choose to do, do that. But we ain't going to point no fingers and say, you are doing what this is tied to is women weeping for Tammuz or Semiramis, the queen of heaven. Because what happens is, it don't matter who, if my mother was in here, your mother was in here, all of us who had mothers and the mothers that were in here baked cakes to one deity. You didn't bake them for each other. Girl, you got your cake baked for the queen of heaven. And my mom almost through, I'm still making the batter. I'm on, God, you still making that batter. We got to get up there and donate our cakes. She's not worried about you bringing the cake to her. Everybody took the cake to the queen of heaven. Now, all I need to see is wherever we individually did our mothers like that. You can't reduce it down to individually say it trickle down because we re-fossilized customs. No. The bottom line is it has to come out of here that says you are doing wrong. There's a lot of things in here. There's a lot of things in here it don't mention. So now, what do you do when something ain't mentioned in the scripture? What happens, is it mentioned in here if a man whoops himself like he's owing money? What is that in here? Is that legal?
If a man does what?
Whoops himself like he's owes him money. Children in here.
Yeah,
So you know what we saying?
Yeah,
so,
I do now.
What is that in here? Can we prove it that that's illegal?
It's not there?
Yes, if it's not saying that verbatim. Because a lot of people ask you, show me that in the Bible verbatim. Well, we can't. All we can show you is everything that's surrounding it. There's a term called vile affections that's used over and over. If it falls in the vile affection, what he's doing, then that's what it is. It's vile affection. And it's not to be done. But it first has to be proven that what makes it vile. Vile is a word meaning nasty, no good, or however you want. You know what it is when you're speaking with a vile tongue. Cursing every other second. Cat Williams speaks with a vile tongue. Yeah. You know, that's what we're talking about. If you are with your mate, or you handling yourself like that, and you hollering them words out like that, then that's where your mindset is. And a lot of people ask, can you lust after your wife? Yes. Can you lust after your husband? Yes. If you start looking at them like you would look at somebody on the streets and talk to them that same way, then that's what you're doing. That's how you're looking at them, like that. You're not looking at them like they are the half of me. You talk to them like that. You know, and you make mention that all of it's vile. And it's so cut though. Then the next morning when you wake up, when the hen done wore off and everything else done wore off. And then she said, no, what's the matter? I've been thinking, what you called me last night? Is that what you like? You must like that. You said I was why is it conscious coming in the next moment? So y'all keep away from this vile affection. And then think ain't no man judge you but the Most High, because only you know in your heart what you're doing. We're not going to play getting into your bedroom. We're not going to play these things how well you love your mother. What we're talking about is if a commandment of these nations, one of their social events, civil holidays or something, tells us to lay God's command to the side and do ours, then we got a problem. If it don't, it's what it is. It's either you take it or you don't. Do I go to the Strassenfest? I like beer. They give you a whole keg of beer for $2. But I can't go because it's the Strassenfest. Things gonna be gone. Oh, well then you can't go to the bar. You can't go to Maggie O'Brien's. You can't go to here because it's an Irish pub. You know what I'm saying? Where does the rabbit hole stop? Where do we stop? Unless you are bringing life to the situation and you keep things to where it is that your mother knows. If I don't come over there today, Mama, it's because I can't. Mama, I didn't get you nothing. I love you every day the same. If she don't accept that, then you have to really govern how you deal with this situation. You're gonna like, I'm not gonna even get involved with it no more because she's taking me to another level. I am the mother of your child! Now what happens if you got two children by two different women? What happens in that household now? Well, that's the mother of my child over there. Give me the credit card. Gotta go get her something. I'm talking about in this damn house right here. And that's what happened. Now the rules keep changing. They keep coming at different levels. Here we got his mama and his auntie and his... Once they start flying like that, you have no more control. Traditions are taking over. Now you're trying to keep up with the Joneses. And that's all it's called. You control the Joneses. If I want to do it, I do it. If I don't, I don't. You can't do this. But to say it's worshiping of the Queen of Heaven, all throughout this Bible, it tells you how they worship the Queen of Heaven. And all I'm asking, is that the same as tomorrow? If you tell me yeah and you show me, then I change how I believe. But you can't make this that no more than you can make abortion, sacrifice to Molech. They're two different types of things that's going on. One, if it caused this problem, then that's what it is. This one is flat out. This is how I'm doing. I know I'm breaking the law. I know I'm despising God to his face because I done told the devil I'm going to give you my first child. That's flat out. Messing up. I don't want to go to the store. Well, we need protection. You got any sandwich bags?
Sandwich bag.
Wait till tomorrow. For one, you're already out of place because you in a place that where you ain't prepared for this, so you maybe not even married at this point. So what's on you that's making you got to get it at it right now, right here, right now? So y'all, we have to look at all these things within your own conscience and not judge one another on these things. But as long as you just point to this and tell me, show me in here how these two match up the same. Just like this tells you how to worship, like how we tell Christian tomorrow, Sunday is not the Sabbath. Saturday is the Sabbath. And you're reading the same book. The same way, don't you think Satan got his same rules? Look, this ain't sacrifice to Molech what y'all just did. Y'all making mistakes. Now, if y'all want to do this right, do it again. And bring it to me right. And then I know you playing by Satan's rules. You ain't going to do that and buffalo me. It's like somebody trying to steal a Mason, like say he had kept the Mason symbols on the back of his car, even though he had denounced it. But he knew he'd get away with a speeding ticket at the police out there. Till Satan told him, I don't play with you like that. He on the side of the road giving all the signals. Stop. Pulling up on his plane. Flat tire, he on his way to work. Cars just flying. They just driving back. Satan don't play them games. You do it right. That's what he does. That's what Christ tells us. He said, don't be in the middle. Either be cold or hot. Either ride with your devil all the way or cut him off. You know, you can't be in the middle or nothing with both of them. So y'all, that's what we wanted to mention also. Now, music. Music, where does it start? The first time we see music in the Bible, we see music, Cain and his seed invented music. Right? They invented the harp. What is David doing when he's playing the harp? Is he playing on that side? I want to understand. Is David, by him playing the harp and driving away evil spirits, is he playing with the devil because Cain and his seed are the first ones in Genesis 4 to make music to draw people in, to deceive them? That's what they did. Genesis 4 say they became artificers. They were the first one to make the hammer, the nails, and all these different things, but they made them to use against the children of righteousness. So music was the first thing. They were the first ones to start introducing music to the children of Israel. When you read the book of Jared, what it say? They were playing them songs and had them beats hidden, and the children of Israel used to come and look down the mic. Party, party. Party, having a good time. I said, come back from there. You go down there, you can't come back up. And they go back up. And they say, we got to remix this beat. And they put another flavor on that beat. And the children of Jared went down the hill, and next thing you know, they and then they couldn't find the way back up. Now they stuck. It's the same way here when they pull you out of the church, so to speak, and they say, look, your voice is the sound of an angel. All we need you to do is sing this, and we'll give you this. And keep on going. We make it. We keep going. We make that. You know, we make that. How much do you need? You want the cover of Vibe magazine? Get you it too. All you have to do is sing this. And we're going to get some beats for you. You don't have to worry about the beat. Now they're going the way it came, that beat that drives you. And when you hear that music, you just go,
So what if you're singing, but you're not singing the sinful things?
That's what we're talking about. See, this is how we don't want to mix the two, because you hear a lot of time, what is the origin of it? And I'm asking, what is the origin of music? What the first time in the Bible we see music coming from?
Singing.
So now, or used for singing. So David was a master of the harp. He drove the evil spirit from Saul, right? It said Saul just throw a javelin at him. Ugly mother. David, get that harp out. Where y'all think the term music, Susan the Savage beats come from? He sit on that. And that made him even more mad, because he done took that anger away from me. So is David dealing with witchcraft because he's playing a harp? That the first time we didn't see Adam playing with a harp, did we? So y'all have to understand, what Satan taught them is what's played up in heaven. There's music up in heaven. There's song. There's 24 elders that sing the song every day to the Most High. Lord, you are worthy to be worshipped. It's sung. But when Satan get a hold to the music, he says, sing this to me. Then you start singing like Jay-Z. Lucifer, son of the morning. Lucifer, drop it like it's hot. Back that thing up. All other things, loving you is wrong. I don't want to be right. You know, so we have to look at, what is he talking about love? You know, so this is what we're talking about. So, but what is the origin? So can you do righteous music playing the same instruments? So this is what we're talking about, y'all. When it gets back down to the point, if you got good music and you got to go to Universal, Universal have to cater to you, not you cater to them. It's the same way they did Dave Chappelle. You done made all this money. Guess what? There's a $50 million contract for you, Dave. But you got some new writers. We do all the writing. And when he started looking at this, some of them scripts, okay, right here, oh, there's a skit here where you're a Bible preacher. and then you bring in a man, he's dressed as Jesus, and you bend him over and you pretend you're having a homosexual engagement with him.
He said no.
He said no. You can say no and go on and take what you got, or you can say yes. And then we know what's going to happen after that. So y'all, this is what we're saying. Know what the true origin is. If Satan is a copycat, he's not inventing anything. He's taking what's invented and he's putting wickedness with it. Birthdays, we always had cakes. Cakes was always around. There was cakes in Egypt, but the bottom line is, what brings wickedness to cakes? A candle and a wish. To who? Who are you wishing to? Make a wish. How about we don't know what that wish is and you saying, I wish Big Mama died. Get that car and that insurance policy. That's what I wish for. Huh? What's wrong with a bachelor party? Nothing. We sitting around, dog, it's your last day, boy. You're going to be a man. Boy, you're domesticated now. Yes. Then, when all the so-called people leave, we say, boy, your mama and the other people leave, you know. They leave. Now, what happens right this if he wake up like on the hangover? Oh. The next day. You know. So this is what we're talking about, y'all. When you bring that wickedness into anything, because Satan said, okay, Lord have feast days. How do I damage them? I teach people how to bring wickedness to those things. Y'all, we have to understand, he's not the origin of anything. Just like we're not the origin of thing. When you think you invented something, you ain't invented nothing. All you did is improve it on the model. What is a horse called? When you had 20 horses pulling a carriage, what is it called? That's 20 what? Horsepower. When you get your car, how many horsepower was that? You got 8-cylinder and a Hemi motor. 465 horses. Boy, you can outrun the police. Now, think about what you just said. You can outrun the police, but you can't outrun a helicopter. So, y'all, we have to understand what's going on here. Ain't nothing new under the sun. It's just maybe improving on something else. Technology, telephones, they had all type of communication system, but now you got a cell phone, there's a computer, there's something. They take this away from you right now. There's no more Facebook for you. There's no more checking your account. There's no more seeing what somebody's talking about. If you leave home and turn around and go back, you got some problems. Because we didn't have to do that earlier. Your mama just asked, come and check in and let me know you're still alive. Don't be gone all day. You come in here tomorrow, I'm going to beat you. That was the rule. But now you get all the way to work and turn around because what you think? One or two things. I need my phone to survive, or damn, I didn't lock that phone. I should have deleted that text. I should have deleted that. Hey, so we ain't gonna fool ourselves. We ain't gonna play games with ourselves. We gonna keep it real. We have to keep it real, y'all. But